Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushan Dhakal. The top stories first. Death toll from coronavirus in Nepal rises to 45. Number of active cases down to 5,000. Opposition parties demand impeachment of Chief Justice, demand revoking its decision to reduce the sentence of DIG Koirala. Central Bank directs BFIs to open all branches, issues a circular instructing them to maintain safety measures. Record number of coronavirus cases reported in every global region. Second wave of virus hits countries that have eased lockdown. And Premier League set for a tantalizing finish. Fight for European places and relegation battles to end today. And now the news in detail. The number of infection due to coronavirus in Nepal has reached 18,483. The death toll from the disease has climbed to 45. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, a 17-year-old girl from Bara has become the latest victim of the disease. The ministry confirmed that she died of coronavirus recently. She was admitted to Birganj Health Care Hospital on Wednesday after complaining of health-related problems. Rapid diagnostic test conducted on the patient turned positive, the ministry confirmed yesterday. The victim was suffering from breathing problem as well as diarrhea and low level of oxygen. Meanwhile, the ministry informed that altogether 5,385 persons are undergoing treatment in isolation across the country. So far, 13,053 persons have been discharged from hospital after full recovery. Likewise, the number of persons kept in quarantine has dropped to 18,183. 4 doctors and 14 health workers of Rajbiraj-based Gajendra Narayan Singh Hospital in Saptari district have been kept in quarantine after one of the patients admitted to the emergency ward of the hospital tested positive for coronavirus. A 50-year-old man from Tilathi was rushed to the hospital after he consumed poison last Wednesday. The person tested positive for coronavirus on Friday. All the doctors and health workers who attended the patient have now been shifted to a hotel in Rajbiraj where they have been quarantined.
दुईजना स्वास्थ्यकर्मी चाहिँ पोजिटिभ देखिसकेपछि हामीले स्वास्थ्यकर्मी लगायत यस अस्पतालमा भर्ना भएका सम्पूर्ण बिरामीहरूको पीसीआर टेस्टको लागि चाहिँ स्याम्पल कलेक्ट गरेर पठायो। त्यसको रिपोर्ट आउँदाखेरि अस्पतालका जुन कर्मचारीदेखि लिएर चिकित्सक र अन्य स्वास्थ्यकर्मीहरू स्वस्थ अवस्थामा देखिए पनि एकजना बिरामी जो चाहिँ पोइजन खाएर आएका थिए त्यसको पोजिटिभ भेटियो।
The hospital was sealed on Friday and disinfected. The hospital has resumed regular service since yesterday after taking necessary precaution including sanitization. This is not the first time that the hospital has reported coronavirus. Earlier, 2 staffers of the hospital had tested positive for coronavirus. Opposition parties have demanded the Supreme Court to revert its decision to reduce the sentence of former DIG Ranjan Koirala of Armed Police Force who was convicted of murdering his wife 8 years ago. The Supreme Court's decision to release Koirala, who was sentenced for life term with confiscation of property, is being widely criticized from all quarters. Leaders of the main opposition party have expressed serious concern regarding the release of a convict without serving a full term. They have demanded impeachment of Chief Justice Cholendra S.J.B. Rana and Justice Tej Bahadur Kesi for the controversial decision. Meanwhile, leader of Janata Samajwadi Party, Lakshman Lal Karna, said it would set a bad precedent to release a person convicted of grave crime with the help of legal loopholes. He said it is not appropriate to define the law in accordance to one's convenience. Article 101 of the Constitution of Nepal has a provision for impeachment. 1/4 members of the full House can impeach Chief Justice or any other justice of the Supreme Court if they are found involved in breaching the Constitution or any law or for displaying bad character or are unable to fulfill their responsibility. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. General Secretary of Nepali Congress Purna Bahadur Khadka has blamed the current government for the increase in incidents of violence, murder and corruption. Speaking at a program organized by the Youth Department of the Congress Party, Khadka added that unlawful and illegal activities are on the rise during NCP's current regime. He added that the internal rift and politics within the ruling NCP has put the needs of the nation and the people in least priority. He further added that although there is disappointment towards the Congress Party for not doing its part as the main opposition, the Nepali Congress has been warning the government time and again through peaceful protests.
सरकारको रवैया सत्ताधारी दलको छिनाझप्टी सत्ताको छिनाझप्टी भ्रष्टाचार अनियमितता नीतिगत भ्रष्टाचार हत्या हिंसा बलात्कार जति पनि खालका समाज र मानव सभ्यताका लागि अहितकारी कुराहरू छन् ती सबै कुराहरू वर्तमान सरकार र वर्तमान सत्ताधारी पार्टीको नेतृत्वमा जनताले पीडाबोध गरिरहेको अवस्था छ।
With the General Assembly of Nepali Congress just around the corner, all top leaders of the party have started to be more active. The Gosai Kunda Fair, which is conducted every year on the day of Janai Purnima, has been cancelled this year. The Gosaikunda Area Development Committee said they will follow the government's instruction to avoid people gathering at religious sites such as temples and pilgrimage sites and have therefore decided to cancel the Gosaikunda Fair, which was set to start from 29th of June to 3rd of August. The chairman of the committee, Sanjeev DM, said in a press statement that all forms of fair management and temporary lodging facilities have been stopped as well. Traditionally, the pilgrimage site of Gosaikunda sees a 10-day fair on the occasion of the Dasara festival and a 5-day fair on Janai Purnima Day. Adding that the 10-day fair during Dasara has also been cancelled, Chairman DM, however, said that all forms of religious activities will be allowed at Gosaikunda after the coronavirus infection spread has been curbed. And now the news from the economic front. The Nepal Rashtra Bank has instructed all banks and financial institutions to open their active branches. The central bank has also asked all of them to maintain safety and security measures during operation with maximum attention to be given to crowd management. The central bank issued a circular instructing all banks and financial institutes to remove the shift-wise operation system and to resume full-fledged service. The circular has also instructed banks to open all their branches during the banking hours and provide service to the customers. The central bank has also asked BFIs to encourage customers to use electronic medium for all banking transactions. After the government enforced lockdown from March 24th, all banks and financial institutions had been operating with minimum capacity from a limited number of branches. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. Almost 40 countries have reported single-day increase in coronavirus infections over the past week, Reuters reported. The figure is almost double the number that they reported the previous week, according to Reuters tally showing a pickup in the pandemic in every region of the world. The rate of cases has been increasing not only in countries like the United States, Brazil and India, but also in Australia, Japan, Hong Kong, Bolivia, Sudan, Ethiopia, Bulgaria, Belgium, Uzbekistan and Israel, among others. Many countries, especially those where officials eased earlier social distancing lockdowns, are experiencing a second peak more than a month after recording their first. The Reuters data compiled from official reports shows a steady rise in the number of countries reporting record daily increases in the virus that causes COVID-19 over the past month. A surge in cases usually precedes a rise in deaths by a couple of weeks. The true number of both cases and deaths are almost certainly underreported, particularly in countries with poorer healthcare systems, health experts and officials say. The United States remain at the top of the case list with more than 4 million cases. Brazil and India, which epidemiologists say is still likely months from hitting its peak, have also exceeded 1 million cases. The United States and Russia will this week hold their first formal bilateral talks on space security since 2013, Reuters reported. The talks are being held despite a U.S. allegation that Russia tested a space-based anti-satellite weapon this month, a U.S. official told the news agency on Friday. Washington hopes to promote norms of responsible behavior in outer space, the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for International Security and Non-Proliferation, Christopher Ford, said. He called for greater stability, predictability and crisis management tools. A U.S. State Department spokesman said the talks would take place Monday in Vienna. Ford told reporters the United States believed Russia and China have already turned space into a war-fighting domain, noting the U.S. Space Command has said it has evidence that Russia tested a space-based and anti-satellite weapon on July 15th. What they are doing is signaling to the world that they are able to destroy satellites in orbits with other satellites, it would appear. This is very disturbing, provocative, dangerous and ill-advised thing for them to be doing, Ford said. You are watching Janata Bulletin and now the latest from the world of sports. The English Premier League 2019-20 season comes to an end as the final fixture is played out between the 20 teams today, all at the same time. Coronavirus prompted fears the campaign might not be completed, but after 92 games in a 40-day period, the English top flight is set for a dramatic finale. 3 teams are currently still vying for the 2 Champions League spot left to qualify for the UEFA Champions League for the next season. Leicester City host Manchester United at the King Power, needing nothing less than a win to overtake the Red Devils in the table. United are on 63 points and Leicester are on 62 with the same goal difference. Chelsea will host Wolverhampton Wanderers at Stamford Bridge. A draw for the Blues would secure their spot in Europe next season. But if they lose and the Leicester United game ends in a draw, they will lose their spot in the top 4 places with an inferior goal difference. At the other end of the table, 2 of Aston Villa, Watford and Bournemouth will be relegated. Villa, who start the day outside of the bottom 3 on goal difference, visit West Ham, whereas Watford have a tough task to get a result against Arsenal at the Emirates. Bournemouth are 19th and travel to Goodison to play against Everton. Anything less than a win would be the end of Premier League for Bournemouth. Watford need to get a result against Arsenal and hope that West Ham does them a favour by defeating Villa. Inter Milan moved into the second place of the Italian Serie A, 4 points behind leaders Juventus with a 3-0 win over Genoa. Leaders Juventus will still win the title today if they beat Sampdoria, but they themselves have only won once in their past 5 games. Juventus are on 80 points, 4 above Inter with a game in hand. For Inter, Lukaku opened the scoring in the 34th minute with a header before Sanchez struck in the 83rd minute, and the Belgians struck again in stoppage time to seal the result. Inter went above Atalanta with the win, while Genoa remained 4th from the bottom, 4 points above the relegation zone, having played a game more than Leeds, their rivals for the final relegation place. AC Milan drew with Atalanta, while Napoli won against Sassuolo. The Lazio have the opportunity to go level on points with Atalanta if they win their game away at Verona. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. Death toll from coronavirus in Nepal rises to 45. Number of active cases down to 5,000. Opposition parties demand impeachment of Chief Justice, demand revoking its decision to reduce the sentence of DIG Koirala. Central Bank directs BFIs to open all branches, issues a circular instructing them to maintain safety measures. Record number of coronavirus cases reported in every global region. Second wave of virus hit countries that have eased lockdown. And Premier League set for a tantalizing finish. Fight for European places and relegation battles to end today. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.